And welcome back. It is Perks Recap Podcast. We are going back to baseball because the baseball season, for all intents and purposes, is just about over. It ended for 28 of the 30 teams yesterday. There's two more teams playing today, Atlanta and the Mets, for the last playoff spot the seeding in the last two playoffs wild card spots in the National League. That game is literally going on right now. With me is Al and Jordan. It is a three-man podcast. First off, Al, how you doing? And you ready for some baseball talk?
Excellent, man. Thanks for having me as always. Definitely ready for some baseball talk, fired up for the playoffs. This is fun. And this is kind of our dream team of podcasting. I love doing the trio here. This is going to be awesome.
Definitely. Jordan, you ready to go?
I was born ready. We all know how I feel about this.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Awesome.
So what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna I don't know how quick it'll be actually, but we're gonna go over the standings, where everybody is in the playoffs, and our predictions that we had. Now, Jordan didn't give his predictions on our show, but he had his predictions from the beginning. So he's just going to kind of play along as we go here and give us what he thought. Jordan, just so you know, here we're going to start at American League East.
Mhm.
Um, I had the O's winning the division, and so did Al. We both had the Orioles winning the division. We both had the Yankees in second as wild cards. So obviously that's flipped. The Yankees won the division, and the Orioles are the wild card. How did you see it playing out at the beginning of the year?
Um, well, beginning of the year, I had to agree with you guys. I had Baltimore as well.
Right. Did you have the Yankees second?
I did.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Um, and then Al, we got every position wrong. I had Tampa third. You had Toronto. I had Toronto fourth. You had Tampa fourth, and we both had Boston in last. All that was wrong.
Yeah. Boston ended up being a lot better than we both thought.
Yes. They just missed the playoffs, really.
Yep. Yep.
hmm
No, they were a real baseball team, unlike what we expected going into the season.
Right. And Jordan, you probably had some. One of ours probably is probably pretty close to what you thought, right?
Um, yeah, kind of. I don't remember the seeing I had, but I don't. I had Boston. I think I had Boston fourth, and I gave Toronto third just because I thought they would have been better now
Right.
that they all actually had some time to play with each other.
Right. And Toronto was garbage.
They 100%.
Yeah. They it ended up Yankees, Baltimore, Boston, Tampa Bay, Toronto. All right, Al. We both had Atlanta winning the division. Obviously, wrong there as well.
No doubt. That whole Atlanta season changed with two injuries, and that was Acuna and Strider.
Right, and then later on, they lost the third baseman there. I can't think of his name.
Riley.
Yes.
Yes. Yep. That just what might have been for the Braves, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is what it is. It happens to all. Everybody has their share of this stuff, and the Braves just got a healthy dose of it this year. But boy, is it tough when you lose a almost a lock for top five Cy Young and top five MVP contenders.
Right, and a solid as a rack third baseman.
Yo, absolutely.
Yeah. So we both had Atlanta winning, and we both had Philadelphia um, second. Obviously, both of those are wrong because that flipped. More than flipped. Philadelphia won the division. Jordan, how did you see it?
Uh, I actually I actually got the this one right. I actually did have winning. I said in the beginning. Um, I think now that I'm thinking about it, I believe I did do a podcast with you, but I think it was on opening day. But I said it from the beginning. I'm gonna stick by with it. I believe this is their season.
Oh, to do more than just win the division.
Yeah, I had that more, but we'll get to that later. But yes, I did have them winning the division.
All right. And then I had Miami, Mets, Washington. You had Mets, Miami, Washington. So we both had Washington last, and that was wrong as well because Miami was worse than we thought. Miami ended up being in last.
Oh, Miami, yeah, Miami ended up being awful, awful, awful.
Yep, they went on some long losing streaks, and the Mets were up and down. I mean, I don't know what I mean. They were a horrible team the first 2 months. Then they were like the best team in baseball for like 3 months, and now they're just kind of middling of the road, like kind of 500.
Yeah, exactly.
But that 3 month stretch, they were unbelievable.
Oh, they were amazing. I mean, they had one of the best records in baseball since the All Star break. I can't.
I think they had actually
Was it the
the
best?
last. I think the last 90 games, including even like, and this, I heard this maybe like 4 or 5 days ago. The last 90 games, which is a big portion of the season, they had the best record in baseball.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's wild too that they didn't. That shows you how bad they were in the beginning because given all that, the Phils all but limped into the postseason. I mean, they were 500 since the All Star break, and they couldn't catch them.
Right. Well, they were 11 under 500 on like May 15th or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
So
awful.
yeah, that's just how bad they were, and then they had that awesome stretch, but you balance it out in the end, and it's they're fighting for a wild card on the last day of the season. You know,
And Washington and Miami were kind of afterthoughts as we thought they would be. We just got a little wrong on the back end there.
no
Jordan,
doubt.
what do you think of the rest of the division besides the Braves and Phillies?
Um, Actually, I did have the, I thought the same thing. I thought Washington uh, would have been a little bit worse just because I feel like everyone from that World Series team is gone, which is
Yep,
actually sad to see, sad to say. I knew they were younger. Patrick Corbin, I think that was probably the worst contract in baseball. I
it's
don't
one
know
of
what
them.
happened. I don't know what happened to him at all.
The thing
Uh,
is, I really wanted him for the Yankees at the time.
yeah, that's the guy that everyone really wanted. Um, Went to Washington, had that one good year, probably around that year, unless someone could prove me wrong. I think they had the best rotation in baseball. Scherzer, Strasburg, and Corbin, the 1, 2, 3. Uh,
Yeah,
what Juan Soto was, what I believe his rookie or his second year of that time they won. They really had a great team, and yeah, I agree. I thought they were going to be in last place, but I Miami's just I don't
it's
know what happened to them. And this was a team who literally last year had the winning manager, and now he's gone at the end of the year.
yep. And the Mets were not suspected to. They were apparently like playing for next year, and all of a sudden they go on this hot streak, and they're right there.
Yeah, well, because he had Grimace in their stadium that one day,
And Hawk to a girl.
Don't get any bigger than that. I mean, come
and
on.
then what the short not the shortstop what
Oh
Iglesias
yeah. Oh
did
my
the
God.
whole thing, and that fired them up too, which I
He
don't
actually had a
understand.
concert after one of their games,
He did,
and I think they lost that game too.
yeah.
That's
All
crazy.
right.
So now all the struggling teams, at least one player on struggling teams, got to become a music artist to get the team going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
great.
it's going to become a trend.
Where's
There
Bernie
you go.
Williams?
Yeah, Bernie Williams. He
Yeah.
started. Al, you got the only out of the AL East and the NL East. You got the only one of us between me and you. The only one right you got was the Mets in third place in the NL East. I got all eight wrong,
Wow,
all 10 wrong,
wow, that's crazy.
and you got 9 out of the 10 wrong. You were a little better as we go here. So let's move on to the Central. We both had Minnesota winning the division. We both had Detroit. We both had Cleveland. We both had we actually were completely on sync for this. Minnesota, Detroit, Cleveland, Kansas City, Chicago, and just we were way off. We got the White Sox right, and that was it. Everything else was wrong. Cleveland ends up being the second best record in baseball, I think, or at least the American League. We had them in third place,
Shocker.
so
That's
just wrong.
blows me away.
Yeah, just the White Sox was correct on both of us. Um, how surprised are you that Cleveland did what they did?
Stunned. I mean, not as the by June or whatever, I haven't been surprised since then. But from the beginning of the season, absolutely stunned.
And what about Kansas City?
Yeah, them too, man. I mean, if you told me Cleveland and Kansas City were going to make the playoffs and try to make some case for it at the beginning of the season, I would have been laughing. I mean,
Yeah,
they're both very surprising, very pleasant surprises. Cleveland very similar to the Phils, kind of limping into the playoffs. They're
yeah,
500 since the All Star break, but heck of a season, heck of a way to break out of several years of mediocrity. So good on them, man, and Kansas City.
absolutely. Jordan, how did you see the AL Central?
Um, I kind of saw it as you guys. I did expect Minnesota to win, but I had Cleveland in second. Um, and then my mind, I actually had Chicago third because I thought maybe something would have clicked. They still had the similar team, and then I had Detroit last because of just what happened the last couple years.
What
Uh,
about Kansas City?
oh, and Kansas City, I had fourth. Uh, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we both
So,
had Kansas City fourth as well, so all three of us
so
did.
I I don't know because I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting more of Minnesota. Um, I was expecting. I wasn't expecting where the Tigers are at all. That just very shocking of how fast this
Yeah.
team developed. And
Really?
if I remember correctly, um, I think what all these guys, the Torkelsons, Green, Carpenters, these guys are not just like these guys are not like veterans or something. These are guys who are relatively drafted, I believe, like 4 years ago. These guys were drafted.
Oh, it's a
Yeah, so
So
super
it's a
young
young
team.
team. Yeah, young
yeah,
team. And don't forget Scooble.
yeah, Scooble and what and ended up as official won the AL Triple Crown for pitching, uh,
Wow.
which is phenomenal. Hasn't been done since well another Tiger, Justin Verlander, back in 2011.
Wow.
Wow. They got the last two. That's funny.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
impressive, man. And one thing I want to say about the Tigers too is they managed to get this kind of rebuild launched while carrying another one of the worst contracts in baseball, Javier Baez. Good on them, man, because that is not easy when you're carrying an albatross like that around your neck.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's been just an absolute disaster for them.
He played 80 games this year, batted 184.
Oh, what
He,
happened?
he,
His
he had,
OPS was 515.
Oh,
in my opinion, I think he literally has not been the same since he left the Cubs.
oh
I
no, I totally agree. But what
I
happened?
want, I mean, I don't know.
You just
Maybe in
get
my
the
opinion,
contract and get and just stop caring.
well, I mean, look at Yoenis Cespedes. He did that with the Mets.
Yeah,
What 4 year deal? They weren't even paying him that much, but at the time, he
I
didn't
mean,
care. Like, wasn't there a play where the ball hit right to him? He just stood there in like the third inning or something like that. It was it wasn't at the end of the game. The team, I think it was a tie game, and he just stood there, watched the guy hit a inside the park home run.
Yeah, that's crazy. I remember that.
You know,
Yep.
it's insane how these players just that you get the money, and you don't care. It's
That-
insane. It makes these guys who are so good. You can't. It's another podcast. It just pisses me off.
And I get where you're coming from, although I will say this. There were signs with Javier Baez before they gave him that deal. And whether he went in the tank because he got money or whether he went in the tank because he was heading that way anyway, I think is debatable. Because he's one of those guys and one of the clear markers. Craig knows my new favorite stat in football is yards after expected for running backs. And my favorite one in baseball to watch for people who sometimes have great starts and then fail are guys who have very low on base percentage over batting average. And like in his best years, 281 batting average, 316 on base percentage. Warning sign. Big warning sign.
well, he doesn't walk. Those guys. There's a lot of those
Yeah.
guys that they just don't walk.
And there's very few that have long term success. Ichiro is one. There's not a whole lot. Who was the guy that used to hit bouncing balls? Vlad Guerrero, another one.
Right.
But the list of guys that are long term successful with high on base percentages is way more complete than guys that don't. And he was sort of kind of heading that way. And I think, I mean, the year he got traded to the Tigers, he was batting 203 before the trade. So, I don't know. I think he was just
No,
personally. I think he was just starting to stink. I don't think he was pulling a Yoenis, who I think was pulling a Yoenis for sure.
yeah, yeah, I was just, yeah, because even the Tigers, like you said, with the trade, because he before he signed with the Tigers, what with the Mets, and even that era or that time he was there, he went from batting fourth to batting eighth, and he was literally swinging at a pitch like in already in the other batter's dugout. He was swinging at.
Yeah.
He does not care, and it's honestly ridiculous that he just gives up, and it's like, and if the Tigers didn't have to pay him that much, I honestly believe they would have let him go.
Oh,
There's so
for sure.
many teams I know we're jumping off topic here, but like Anthony Rendon of the Los Angeles Angels, I honestly get rid of this
Perfect.
dude. I do not care for him. Get out.
Yeah, not everybody can do that. There's definitely players on a lot of teams that are just absolutely holding the team hostage. They can't get rid of them because they're making too much money, but they stink and they're not earning their contract. So,
No doubt. No doubt.
alrighty, let's move on to the NL Central. Um, Another one, Al. You did get two right on this one. You got the
Oh,
Cubs. You got the Cubs in second and Pittsburgh in last. I just got Pittsburgh in last. I had the Cubs winning, the Cards second. You had the Cards winning, Cubs second. We both had the Reds third. We both had Milwaukee in fourth,
woo!
and of course, Milwaukee won the division.
Right? Yeah. Wow. Whoops.
Well, I think they're the surprise of the league, right? I mean,
I
I
agree.
Hmm.
mean, Jordan can touch on this too. I mean, the expectation for Milwaukee was not this.
No, I agree completely. Very. I mean, there are three very surprising teams that made the playoffs for me, and they are at the top of the list, especially given they got the highest seed of the surprising teams. The other two
Yeah,
are Detroit and KC.
right. And I tell you, the manager of the year is probably, and I always forget his name. Who's the Milwaukee manager, the Brewers manager?
Pat Murphy.
Is that who it is?
I believe it's I 100% think it's Pat Murphy.
Okay, well then, yeah, he's going to win the manager of the year. I think. That would be my choice now. Obviously, I picked somebody else earlier, but if I was voting now, he probably would get my vote because this wasn't supposed to happen. This is like a year early, or maybe even 2 years early.
Yeah, I agree, man. No, super impressive. Go ahead, Jordan. You go ahead on this one. I'm so impressed by the way this team came around early.
Uh,
Pat Murphy. Whoa.
Honestly, I am too. I was not expecting, like you said, this early. Just because everyone thought at the time the loss of Craig Counsell was gonna hurt them, and it did not. Uh, I actually, you know, went to the Cubs. The Cubs got worse from last year, which is surprising to me. But yeah, like you said, huge fan of Jackson Chorizo. Done
Curio?
really well. Churio, yeah, sorry. Done really well with him. Willie Adames has actually done phenomenal, and the
Willie
pitching,
Adames has been underrated for years.
No
he
doubt.
really is.
He puts up solid numbers every year.
Yeah, and they also did this without their best, well, we'll say best player, which was supposed to be Christian Yelich.
Yep.
And he played like a handful of games this year before coming out. This Milwaukee Brewers team, they're fun to watch. They don't even have Corbin Burns. They were doing what they did a couple years ago when they got rid of Hader, and now like the pieces are just like
Everything.
surprisingly there, and
Yep.
it's shocking because going into this year, if you were to tell me Milwaukee was winning by a Cubs team who is stacked, like Bellinger, Swanson, Suzuki, and I can't think of the other pitcher from Japan, but he's been phenomenal. And then the Cardinals, who I don't know what happened to them. But, I would think I would have, I would have laughed as well because there was no way I would think Milwaukee was gonna get this good this early.
So who? What was your order for the division?
So actually, my order was, believe it or not, I actually had St. Louis in first. I actually thought the Reds were going to be a lot better, so I
Me
put them in
too.
second. Then Cubs, St. Louis, and then Pittsburgh. Or not St. Louis,
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Yeah, thank you.
So you had them in fourth. We all picked Milwaukee to end in fourth, and they end up winning the division, and they're one of the surprises of the league. And a fun fact: my NL Rookie of the Year pick at the beginning of the years was Jackson Churio.
Yeah, that's right. And it did not look good early, and he turned it around. Remember, we did I don't remember when we did our follow up pod where we looked at, was it halfway through the season, Craig?
Something like that. Yeah. Yep.
And he was, I think he was in the, like, he was batting horribly. He was like, it was like, I remember the guy I picked from Texas, who I'm blanking on his name right now, who,
Wyatt Langford.
thank you, who had an okay season, but nothing where Churio ended up, was doing better at the time.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was kind of a stab in the dark, but I did like what I read about him. I just read about some of the rookies and basically picked, who I, liked what I was hearing the most.
Yeah, it was
But,
a
you know, I'm pretty happy with that pick. I don't know if he'll get it or not. Probably not. But I still think that he's a pretty good player. Our picks for all the rookies and Cy Youngs are kind of funny now. I'm looking at them now. But anyway, let's resume. Okay. Let's go over to the AL West. Houston, Texas, Seattle, Anaheim, and the A's was my order. Your order was Houston, Texas, Seattle, Anaheim, and the A's, Al.
ah,
So we were wrong across the board except for Houston. Everything else was incorrect. We
man,
both got Houston right. Um, and that was it. They did win the division, but I think Texas has to be one of the most disappointing teams, even though they didn't completely fall off the map, but they came in third. They're not making the playoffs.
absolutely.
And Seattle, I knew Seattle was good. That was a tough one for me to decide on Seattle and Texas. I knew Seattle was going to be pretty good. They end up in second, Texas. And then Oakland actually finished above Anaheim. I mean,
Incredible.
Oakland was awful, obviously. Anaheim's was even worse. And but I mean, Anaheim is in dire straits. They got to get Trout out of there. If he's got a couple of years left to, even if he just latches on a team and plays 110 games a year for him, he's got to get out of there. And we got to see him in the postseason because that place is done. Like it's got no shot right now. They are terrible. Even Oakland, who doesn't even have a home, finished ahead of them.
Yeah, and they have an owner who clearly doesn't give a crap about anything but a new location. Um,
Ugh.
and can we talk also about that collapse of the Mariners that cost what's his face's job? Who was the manager?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I'll get it. I'll find it.
I
Sorry,
know who you're talking
yeah,
about.
you know me. I stink with names, but boy, they were looking like a playoff team, 3 months ago easily, and then they had a stretch where they just went in the crapper, and it cost their manager his job. Unless I'm making this whole thing up, which I don't think I am.
No, I'm
Scott,
pretty sure
uh,
that yeah.
sorry
Manager
to interrupt.
fired. Here we go. Who was it?
Scott
Scott
Service.
Service. There we go. Thank you, Jordan.
No.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's not easy to get fired when your team finishes in second. But but
Yeah,
Right.
no.
they went from 10 games up to 5 games back, and that's what got him fired.
Yeah, they were way ahead for a while, and Houston really struggled out of the gate, but they straightened out. Jordan, how did you see this division going?
Um, actually, I would. I actually thought Texas was going to be a lot better. I put
Yeah,
Texas, then I put Texas, Houston, Seattle, Angels, Oakland. That's what I did.
Okay.
right. Okay, me and Al both had Houston in first, but we had both had Texas in second. So we all thought Texas was going to be better. They're one of the biggest disappointments of the year, I think.
No doubt. I agree
Oh,
100%.
100%. And then can I actually capitalize or add on to the Mike Trout thing that you said?
Yeah,
Um, so I know you said that he has to get out of there and all that stuff. They This is coming actually from Trout himself. There's an interview. I believe it was either opening day or spring training. He said twice the general manager and the owner both came to his house. They talked with him. They said, "Hey, let's get you out of here," and he has told them countless of times he has said no. He said, "If I did not want to be an Angel, I would not have signed long term." So that's on Trout. I can't blame the Angels. It's on Trout if he wants to stay there or not.
Wow. I can't believe he wouldn't want to come home to Philly. I mean, he's at all the freaking
That's
Eagles
what
games.
on honestly, that's one of the rumors that he was. I There was actually talk. Again, I don't know if it's true or not that Harper was even trying to get him to come over, but Mike Trout has said no countless of times. He's like, I'm an Angel for as long as I can no longer play.
And I respect it on a one level for sure. I mean, it's very an honorable sort of thing. But boy, it's just going to piss away what's left of his career because it's gonna be
It
years
is.
until that team's good
It's
again.
probably, we talk about all these guys, but it's probably one of the best players in baseball to never either win or get back to the World Series
No
or to
doubt.
the playoffs.
No doubt.
yeah. How many playoff series has he been in? One.
I think he's done one because then I think what I want to say it was that year where I could be wrong, but I gotta
I
look
want to
it
say it
up.
was like his second year in the league or something. They got to the
Yeah,
playoffs, and that was the only one.
mhm.
Or just yeah,
And
it's terrible
it
for
was
him. But if he
before.
wants it, that's on him, like you said.
Yeah, it was before the Angels honestly went downhill. Because what they had terrible signings with in his
Rendon.
career.
Rendon.
What
Yeah.
Rendon, Hamilton, Josh Hamilton,
Oh God. Oh
CJ
man.
CJ Wilson. I don't
Jeez.
I don't know if I could really kill them for Pujols because around the time Pujols was Pujols.
Right.
Um, so I don't know if I could really kill them on that. But I think I even read somewhere I think they're still paying Josh Hamilton.
What
And
they,
and and the
Oh,
dude has been retired for how long?
at
He's on
least
the
five
Bobby
years.
Bonilla plan, huh?
Yeah, it's ridiculous that this is what I'm like, they never spend money, they never do anything, and these are the reasons why. Like Anthony Rodon has literally went on and said, "I have no desire to play baseball." So then there should be a rule that if he decided that he should get off the payroll and get off the team. You have no desire. You don't want to play. But you never want to play baseball your whole life. Then what are you doing? Why are you still playing?
Yeah, it's a trip, man. And by the way, Trout did make the playoffs one time, lost in 3 games to the Royals. That's the Angels' only trip to the playoffs since he's been in the majors.
So that was during the what 14, 15?
Yes,
Okay. Real quick, we should just go with the caveat real quick about the Braves and Mets. The Braves in second, Mets in third. We were talking about earlier how they finished. Obviously, those games are going on right now, and that could actually flip. If the Mets win both games of the doubleheader, they would actually be ahead of Atlanta. Atlanta would end up in third place.
correct. And 7-0. I'm sorry, 3-0 Braves in the seventh in the first game right now.
Okay, so all right, let's continue on
Nice.
to let's see. Oh, NL West. This is the last division here. Uh, we both had the Dodgers correct. I had San Francisco, then San Diego, then Arizona, all wrong, and then I had Colorado in last. You had Arizona, San Diego, wrong. Then San Francisco was correct, and Colorado was correct. You had 3 of the 5 correct in this one, Al. Um,
Hey,
we both thought Arizona was going to be a little better than they were. They're right there, but they're. I got a feeling they're not going to make the playoffs. I doubt it very much. Um, Chances are most sweeps are usually splits, and that I'm sorry, most double headers are split. And that second game, if Atlanta wins the first game, we talked about this off air. They're just not going to play anybody in that second game. And I mean, they could still win. Obviously, it's baseball, but the Mets have a big advantage in that second game. Or whoever wins the first game, the second game, whoever wins that first game, they're not going to play anybody in that second game. So chances are it's going to be a split, and Arizona's going to be on the outside looking in. But you never know. We got to see. Um, I still thought they would be a little better than they are. Um, well, it was really tough. San Francisco, San Diego, and Arizona for me was really tough. I could have ended in any order. I ended in the order I did. San Diego usually disappoints, but this year they actually got their act together a little bit, and I've always liked that team. They do spend money, they do try, and it just never seems to work out for them. And they had a pretty good year this year, so I'm interested to see what they do in the playoffs. But anyway, Jordan, how did you see the West?
I saw the Dodgers, then I saw Arizona, San Francisco, San Diego, Colorado.
Okay, so you had San Diego pretty low, like us. We didn't. Well, we had them in third. You had them in fourth.
Yeah.
Al, do you think the Dodgers were a little bit of a disappointment considering how stacked they were?
I mean, listen, they not the way they came into the playoffs. Overall, maybe a little bit, but they were 42-23 since the All Star break. So whatever if issues they had were obviously settled, and they come in. They got the number one seed, and they're one of the hottest teams in baseball. So you can't ask for much more going in the playoffs.
And they did get hit with a lot of injuries.
A ton, and overcame them. They. It's interesting because going back to San Diego for a second, guess who had the best record since the All Star break?
Yeah.
That would be the Padres, and the Dodgers have the second best. So you got two of these smoking hot
Well,
teams coming out of the West.
well, I'll tell you
Um,
too. Arizona had a great record there in the All Star break, coming out of that, they were saying how Arizona and San Diego were both two of the hottest teams in baseball, and Arizona needed it because they, like I was saying, I was kind of alluding to that they were a little bit of a disappointment. We all thought they'd be better, but they did go on that hot streak after the All Star break, and that got them where they are.
no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, and one of the things I want to say about San Diego too is these guys might have it does on paper, maybe not like coming into the season, but the way they've pitched the last half of the season, they might have one of, if not the best pitching staffs going into the playoffs. You got
Hmm.
Musgrove, Dylan Cease, Michael King, who, by the way, you called what a great season he was going to have, Craig, back in freaking March.
Well, I
Uh,
liked him with the Yankees. I thought he was a good pitcher.
yeah, I did too. I mean, but you were all over him. And then you, Darvish, they got four legit starters going into the playoffs that are all pitching pretty darn well. Um,
They're going to be a tough out.
They are. They're hot as hell, and they're gonna be. They have good pitching to go with their offense. So, and that's the weakness of the Dodgers. The Dodgers have Flaherty, Yamamoto, and who else?
Nobody.
Yeah,
Right.
no. Mm-mm.
So very interesting.
Jordan, how do what are your thoughts on the West? The Padres and Diamondbacks and the hot streak and everything.
Um, so actually, with your question, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of with Al, but I actually think kind of overall the Dodgers were a disappointment. Um, the only reason we're talking about the Dodgers is the same reason 6 straight years we talked about the Los Angeles Angels. It's one guy,
Yep,
Shohei Ohtani. Oh, and what incredible! I'm not dissing Shohei Ohtani. This is not me going on. He's a phenomenal player. Made history this year, which I didn't think anyone thought we were ever we he was ever going to do. 50-50, first player ever to do 50 to hit be a 50-50 player.
And me and
But
Al are old enough to remember when it was such a big deal when Jose Canseco was going for it in the late '80s. He was going for 40-40, and
Yep.
that was a
yeah,
huge deal. That was on SportsCenter every night.
yeah.
Huge,
A- a-
huge.
but like in my mind, I always play. I like to play the devil's advocate. If they didn't have Otani, I think they would have stunk. They were out with Mookie Betts for a long periods of time. It he was not really. I mean he could hide it as long as he wanted. He was not good at shortstop at all. He was very very bad at shortstop. Um, you know, their best player or Yamamoto was another big agent, free agent signing that they had was out for almost all season long. He was bad. Glass now has they don't know they're iffy with him coming into the playoffs,
Yeah, I
and
was
that
gonna
bullpen
wonder if he was pitching. Yeah, okay.
and that bullpen is terrible. I've said it on numerous podcasts, yours and mine's. I honestly thought if the Red Sox were out, they should have gone and got Jansen, a familiar face. But I don't know. Like looking at this lineup, it's the same thing we've seen time and time and time again. They their off season is let's all go and get hitting. You don't need hitting. You need pitching. If you can out hit the other team as much as you want, but if you don't have that pitching, you're not getting very very far in
Well,
these short series.
yeah, I gotta say, considering their injuries, their starting staff, who's going to be pitching, we don't even really sure on who's going to be number three, and the fact that their bullpen is so bad, I can't see any scenario really where they're going to go very far in the
Well,
playoffs.
right now, number three is Walker Bueller, and he was awful this year.
Yeah, his ERA was
Going,
well over like 4.5.
What
yeah,
happened to
go
that guy?
and going into a free agent year. Usually, guys do good. He is awful after being injured. What last year? I think he had Tommy John, if I'm not mistaken, and he's just flat out awful.
Yeah, he's brutal. I don't know what happened to him, man. He was a rising star a couple of years ago, and an injury, and he just never came back.
Yeah, no,
He'd be a good
it's
candidate, I think, for next year to come back to where he was. You always need a year or so, sometimes even more, to really come back from Tommy John. Everybody always says that.
yeah,
Yeah, you might be right. I mean, but it seems like 5 years since Walker Bueller was good. It's a weird downturn because it wasn't just the injury. It was he was I don't know. I don't know. Walker's a fascinating guy. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe he's just needs next year he'll be back to what he was. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like it to me. I don't know. Hopefully
So
I'm
do
wrong.
you? So do you guys think that the Dodgers are in trouble here, and they might be an early exit?
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about it. And by the way, would anybody have guessed Walker Bueller is 30 years old already?
Really?
Wow.
Yep. I mean, it seems like he just started 2 years ago. So it's
Well, I mean, I know since we're on the topic, I know it's like a future podcast though, but I actually looked at the free agents to be for starting pitching. He might actually get a shot. The starting pitching, besides maybe Shane Bieber, if you want, and Jack Flaherty.
Corbin Burns, right?
Yeah, yeah, and Corbin Burns. What those people are gonna? They're looking for pitching. They're gonna fight for those three guys. So I kind of actually think Walker Bueller might be up there. Maybe give him like a 2 year deal. Probably won't be expensive. But
Something,
once
yeah, like a prove it kind of a deal.
yeah, and but once those three guys, Corbin Burns, Flaherty, I think Shane Bieber's also gonna be a sleeper pick. I know he's been injured, but Shane Bieber's when he's on, he's on. Once those three guys go, I believe that Walker Bueller could be maybe like a fourth, fifth starter for a contending team and try to prove himself.
yeah, no, he'll land somewhere. He's been too good in the past not to get another shot. And if you one thing about MLB is if you prove that you can be a good pitcher, even if it's just once, you get shot after shot after shot after
Mm.
shot after shot. I mean,
Well,
who is the Rich Hill? Rich Hill is
yeah.
pitching again at 44 or whatever this year. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Walker Buell will definitely land somewhere.
Totally agree. All right, so our playoffs are all jacked up because we had. I mean, Atlanta looks like they're going to make it, but you ended up with Atlanta and the Yankees in the World Series with Atlanta winning, and I had the O's and the Dodgers with the O's winning. Um, I mean, they're all alive, so that's pretty good. But I had Texas in the playoffs. So did you. You actually had Toronto. Oh no, I had no. You had Toronto, Al,
Yeah, I had them as a wild card, I guess, huh?
as a wild card. Yeah, I had Yankees, Texas, Seattle as a wild card. You had Yankees, Texas, and Toronto. So we both got Texas wrong. And then we had Philly, San Francisco, St. Louis for me, and you had Philly, Arizona, San Diego. San Francisco and St. Louis aren't going to make it, and your all three of yours could make it. Well,
Hey,
Philly won the division, but you had Atlanta winning. They're in. Philly's in. San Diego's in, and it's just if Arizona gets in, if Atlanta can knock the Mets out today.
well, I never would have guessed that. That's pretty cool. But I don't think it's going to happen because of what you were saying. Oh, Mets are coming back 3-1. Um, but yeah, I think like because of what you said about the doubleheader, whoever wins is going to yank their starters. So it's going to be dicey to get get the Diamondbacks in there. But shoot, I'm surprised I got that close. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be very Mets for them to get knocked out.
Oh, totally. After being one of the hottest teams in baseball for 3 months, and then they just whimper into the postseason.
Well, remember in 2022, the same thing happened. They were winning the division all year, and then they lose it at the end to the Braves, and then they lose the wild card in 3 games
Yep.
after
Oh, I
winning
love it.
over 100
Actually,
games. By
you
the
know,
way, nobody won 100 games this year. It's like the first time since like 1940 something.
Yeah, isn't
wow.
that wild?
Yeah, that's insane.
That is really wild.
Actually, I do got a question for you guys with the Mets.
Hmm.
If the Mets, well, let's play worst case scenario. Let's say in the playoffs they get knocked down early. Do you see them being a threat in the off season or not really? You think they're gonna rebuild?
No, I think they are. I think they're going to go hard for Soto. I think I think if they don't make the playoffs, I think that's the worst case scenario. But even if they get eliminated early, I think the fan base is going to be in such an uproar. They're going to have to go make a big splash. And if they don't get Soto, I could see them getting like Burns and somebody else. Like they're going to go hard. I think they're going to get either Soto as a big free agent or two big free agents after Soto and maybe even more. I think they're going to go for it in the next couple next year because they were saying last year coming into this year saying that they were going to kind of be rebuilding, kind of assess where they are with Stearns because he was new at the GM job, and everything worked out better than they thought. Nobody thought they were going to contend, and now they know that they can contend. They've got some decisions to make, and they were always saying 2025 was going to be the year that they were going to really go after it, and they're better than they thought. So I think they're really going to go after it for sure. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about Soto. I was thinking the whole time he's going to stay with the Yankees. I don't know. I think the Mets are going to probably have. Now he might choose
But
somebody over them, but I think they're going to
the
have the biggest offer.
well with Soto, with the rumors that are going on, I don't know, I have a feeling he's gonna stay because the teams are supposedly on him. I don't see him going unless they give him a deal. It's ridiculous of how these teams, most of them are not really contenders.
Well,
I think you have what you have. Well, obviously the Yankees, you have the Mets. Someone was saying the Giants because they lost on Judge. One guy has the Nationals uh, being a surprise team, and one guy had said because you can't do it anyway. You never count the Dodgers out
right.
because
That would make sense.
but his reason was actually right on point. They're only paying Shohei Ohtani like $5 million per year. So they
Right.
could go. They could go after Soto if they wanted to, and they do. I don't know what the hell. You might as well not play baseball. Just go to the postseason.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't know. I think the Mets are just basically going to tell Soto whatever your highest offer is, we'll go over it.
Now,
I think they're going to just offer him the most money. Doesn't mean he'll go there because I think if it's like the Yankees and the Mets, and the Mets go over the Yankees offer by 20-30 million dollars, he might choose the Yankees. You know, as long as the Yankees are close. But if the Yankees are like at, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80 million dollars less than the Mets, he's going to go.
now, do you think the Mets would also re-sign Alonso? Or you think this is his last year?
No, Alonso's out. I think Alonso's gone.
Yeah, that's interesting. I would tend to agree, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
And
He's gonna get a lot of money.
and on the Yankees, get ready for the youth movement because DJ's going to be gone, Glaber's going to be gone, Rizzo's going to be gone, Verdugo's going to be gone.
Which is a shame too, because there's a lot of great veteran first basemen out there that I think the Yankees could go after.
There
It's a
might be
shame.
they might get a first baseman. I can see them going out and getting a first baseman.
They could end up with Alonso.
They could, although I hope they don't. But they
But
could.
but yeah, but you have Alonso. I don't know. Maybe because I just I like him and I think he needs a chance again. I think Goldschmidt will fit perfectly. And he's a veteran dude. He's been there. He's done that. I'm just saying. I
Yeah,
think
I
Gold.
could see them getting somebody like that. And then you got, Jazz will play second, Volpe at short, and then you need to get a third baseman. But the third baseman could just be Cabrera. I can see that, man. And then left field, Dominguez, or no, left field should be
Oh,
Judge. Dominguez should be in second, in center, and then
oh,
Soto and right in Stanton DH. And there you go. That's your team.
actually, I also thought about it. There's actually 6 teams on it, and well, again, we'll. I know we're getting off topic. Philadelphia is actually rumored to get so too.
What do you think of that, Al?
Bring it on. It's not my money. Sign him. Let's go.
But and the funny part is you'll have 3 guys. I actually, in my opinion, I think it'll be good for him because then you have 2 guys he's comfortable with. He's played with Trey Turner. He's played with Harper.
Yeah, that's why he's on that and the Phillies giant budget is why he's on the list. You know what I mean? And it definitely makes sense. I have no idea if they're going to go hard for him or not. You know, the Phillies can be a little hard to read sometimes. Their ownership is extremely quiet, but I'd love it. I mean, bring it on. Let's go. You tell me we're going to have Harper and Soto for another 7-8 years. Let's go.
Yeah. And then Soto's probably going to want a 12-year contract, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it makes. I mean, what is he? What is he? 26?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Harper is signed until he's 39, so why not sign him until he's 38?
Yeah. 12, 30, maybe even a 13-year contract, maybe a 14-year contract. Maybe he wants to play till he's 40.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
I could see that.
Oh, Mets came back.
Yep, yep.
4-3, 4-3 Mets. Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
what happened?
They're just collapsing in the top of the eighth, man. The Braves they're on their second pitch of this inning, and they are just they just keep getting hits and knocking people
Mm-hmm.
in. Not one big
Yeah,
hit, just grinding and knocking. One run here, one run there, a double here, a single there. Here's a sac fly that just happened. So yeah.
and there goes Iglesias still in second base. One
Wow.
out. One out.
Can you imagine I thought the least likely scenario would be the Mets winning both games. I thought the Mets' best shot was to win one and just get in. But can you imagine if they knock the Braves out?
That would be insane.
I'd
But
love it.
then, if they knock the Braves out and they play San Diego, I think you gotta go see San Diego is way more better than the Mets.
I agree, and don't forget we got to also consider the travel here. They went from Milwaukee to Atlanta on no days rest. They played in Milwaukee yesterday. Fly to Atlanta, play a doubleheader today, and if they win, they got to fly to San Diego, cross the country, and play tomorrow.
It's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
That's
That's
a
crazy.
crazy because baseball screwed this up so much as they always do. It's one of the worst. It's like such a bad run organization.
Dude,
The
yeah.
as a whole, they screwed this up royally.
Oh, Nimmo,
Dude.
6-3 Mets.
Upper deck.
Holy
Wow.
cow!
I mean, that was a moonshot. It was only 405, but it looked like 505.
Wow.
Oh, they are now crushing the Braves, who are now going to their third pitcher of the inning.
Jeez.
Wow, the Braves are also getting their pitching staff depleted all of a sudden here if they win this game. Wow, or if they win, if they manage to make the playoffs, however it happens. Wow. Okay,
Well, there you go.
gotta love baseball, baby.
But
Oh my
even if,
6-3
but
now.
but even if the Mets win Game One and the Braves win Game Two, or the Braves then go on to play for San Diego, right?
See,
No,
I'm not clear on
no,
that.
I don't think so. I think because if they split here, the Braves still end up ahead of the Mets.
Oh, okay, here you go. So Game One winner Mets, Game Two winner Braves. No, the Braves are still the 5 seed, so they still play San Diego.
They play San Diego.
Yeah, if the even no matter where it is, this is how this is on the MLB.com. If anyone splits, so if the Mets win Game One, Atlanta wins Game Two, Atlanta's still the number 5 seed.
Huh. Okay. See, I wasn't
So
sure.
so
All
they'll
right.
still so they'll still play San Diego, and then the Mets will play Milwaukee. Which if you're a Mets fan, you have to hate because they never play Milwaukee. They never play good against Milwaukee.
And they were just there.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, but then obviously if the Mets sweep, Arizona's in, and Atlanta sweeps, Arizona's in. Yeah, so no matter what, if they win Game Two, um, yeah, Atlanta still is number 5 against the uh, Padres.
Fathers. Okay. Well, it will be definitely will be interesting, and we should do this again when everything's done, at least, or getting close to done. If you guys are on board for that, to do an end of season recap, we can go over all the awards and everything.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. It's going to be a fun few weeks here for sure. I can't wait. Uh, football's on, and on football Sundays, I'm still all about football, but the rest of the week, I'm going to be all about baseball.
Heck yeah. Oh, I love the playoffs, man. I love the
Baseball
playoffs.
playoffs are so fun. Yeah.
It's a
All right.
beautiful time of year.
Oh, let's go! I like that.
What?
Sorry, I just so MLB for All Star game. They just announced this now. Well, the All Star game, they will go back to wearing the hometown team's jersey. So no more ALNL jerseys.
Oh, thank God.
Good. Good.
And
Oh, that's
then
good. That's how it used to be. It's what it's
Thank,
supposed to be.
thank goodness.
and then according to this, the jerseys that everyone's wearing now will no longer be in effect as of next year. So they will go back to the regular material on the jersey. So no more sweaty people that we see all
No
the time.
more, no more sweat stains
Yes.
everywhere. The Yankees start out as a light gray, and by the time the game's over, it's a dark gray.
Yeah, I love it. But wait a second. What the big news though is, are they getting rid of the city uniforms? Because I mean, nobody wants that, right? We all love them.
The city connects.
I'm kidding. Of course, they suck.
I don't think those are going anywhere.
Oh
No,
God.
I think sadly that we will see more and more
Oh, the
people
city connects are staying. Darn. I hope
because
they're. It sounded like
I'm
they were
glad.
getting their
because
pulling their senses together here, but
Jordan, do the Yankees even have a city connect? They don't have one, do they?
they don't, but I want next year they could do it because it seems like they started 2 years ago, and then this year, I think like San Diego, the Mets, these guys, I think that
San
I think
Diego had
that
like a rainbow. Their
yeah,
uniforms were really weird.
they all added theirs, so I wouldn't be surprised next year if we're seeing more
I don't know. I don't think the Yankees
City
are going to do
Connect.
it. The Yankees hold their uniform in high esteem. I
Yeah,
was
why not?
pissed.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me when they do. Now they have sponsorships over their uniforms,
Yep.
so
Yeah, but
it wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, but there was a huge uproar when they did that. Yankee fans were mad that they put those patches on. Can you imagine them
Yeah,
wearing a different uniform?
Yeah, that's
if
that's
if that's the case, we'll get breaking news that George Steinberg came out and got resurrected.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Little pet cemetery Steinbrenner style.
Give Soto $1 billion.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Give 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 Burns 400 million now and tell him to pitch for us in the playoffs. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care about the rules.
that's right. That's awesome.
You'd be a good fit. You'd be a good fit for the Yankees. I want to be mad for if Corbin Burns. I decided I went there. And the problem is, you're now probably gonna have a lot of convincing him to be second place to Garrett Cole. But you
I
know,
don't. I don't
it's
think. No, they're not going to. You know, if they sign Soto now, if they don't sign Soto, all bets are off. But if they sign Soto, that's it. They're not going to sign anybody else. I
so.
know
But
a
That's a
bunch
you
fair
of
point.
money's. I know a bunch of money's coming off the board,
so
but
we'll be
still,
watching the Yankees in last place. Okay, okay. I mean, that's that. But I'm just saying, Soto's your only option. You gotta think though, because Boston's probably gonna get better.
I
I,
also thought I wouldn't be surprised if they get Soto.
Yeah,
I, I,
that's an interesting one. That's an interesting one because they are on the rise again, and we know they have money.
well, now
So
they need a closer. I mean, that's. I think it's ridiculous that last game of the season, Kelly Jensen got hurt and then he just walked out.
Right. Well, yeah, but the Yankees need a closer too. So the Yankees are gonna. I think if they get Soto, they will be in the market for maybe a closer and maybe even a big time closer, and maybe a few other little small pieces. But that's it. I don't think they're gonna do anything else. Maybe a first baseman that might not be expensive, like a Goldschmidt. Um, but they're not. That's it. They're not going after the big fish after Soto. Again, though, if they don't get Soto, all bets are off. They could be in on anybody and everybody.
I'll
Which will
tell
be.
you.
I'll go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, man. I'll tell you if the Dodgers want to be smart for once instead of just flinging money all over the place, they would be after the ones going after Corbin Burns because
Right.
I agree.
every year it's pitching every year, and they get more pitchers hurt. It's like the Giants' offensive line over there in LA with pitchers. I don't know what it is. I mean, we can rip them for having a bad pitching staff, but they had Dustin May and what's his face, the other guy that always gets hurt. The two young guys that came up together, May and Gonsolin,
Yep.
uh, who are both very good pitchers when healthy, but they're just not healthy. So if they have a brain in their GM's head over there, they will go after the best pitcher they can get, and that's Burns.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Uh,
they need to upgrade that pitching staff for sure. That it's going to be their undoing this year. I'll be surprised if they can if they can make it through with this staff, uh, unless they just absolutely just mash everybody and just win 11-10 every day. But that doesn't usually happen in the playoffs. So
Yeah, it's hard to sustain in postseason play, that's for sure. Yeah, and they are weak at pitching, no doubt. As weak as any good, really good team you'll ever see, just about.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I know we gave our predictions earlier, but now knowing what you know, real quick, lay it out there. Who is in the World Series?
All right, well, I'll go first, I guess. I am taking this. I went back and forth on this several times. I have, I ended up. I'll just go right to the end game, I guess. I ended up Phil's Yankees. Um, I wanted to kind of put the Dodgers in there, but I just couldn't. I didn't even have them winning a round. So,
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
because San Diego is so hot, man, and they're going to be a tough out. They might be they could end up being the World Series team. With that, the two best pitching staffs I think in the postseason. Tell me if I'm wrong. Are the Phils and the Padres?
What do you think of Milwaukee though?
Uh, their pitching staff in particular, or the team?
Both.
Milwaukee, their offense is really cold. They don't have a whole lot of hot. players going on right now. I was looking at. Let me pull it up here. I have it sitting here somewhere. Um, I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see them going real far in the playoffs. They have Adames and not much else, and Churio, and not much else going on in their whole offensive lineup, especially with Yelich out. I love Reese Hoskins, but he batted 214 this year.
Yep.
And I love it. They have my favorite closer in baseball. I love Devin Williams. I think he's an
Oh,
absolute studly beast. But their starting pitching isn't a whole lot to write home about. You know what I mean? Like you got Freddie Peralta, and who else are you scared to face in the postseason from that team?
yeah, no one. I tend to agree with you, but I also think they kind of are like a scrappy, sneaky good as well. I
Hmm.
could see them surprising a little bit in the playoffs, but I would tend to agree with you. Um, for my National League team, I'm gonna go with the Padres, and I think it might be Padres Phils in the. I don't know how it's gonna match up. I don't know what the brackets are, but if it matches up that way, where Padres Phils in the NLCS,
Hmm.
that would be a lot of fun.
I would. That's how I did it. I kind of wrote all this out. Just I wasn't sure how we were going to do it on the show, so I wrote it out just to be safe. That's how I had it. Whether I got because I get very confused by seedings and things, so I could have done it wrong, but that's how I did it. And I could see saying like again, two best pitching staffs in the postseason. I think. I mean, tell me who's better. They are both four deep, which is
It,
really rare coming into the playoffs
it,
anymore in baseball. So I'm really curious to see how it pans out. But and they both have good offenses too. So I don't know.
Yep.
I I honestly think I don't think there is any other starting pitching that's better than those teams. Because you know who you're getting games 1, 2, and 3 for both teams, and
In a 7 game, you'll probably need that fourth too.
Right?
yeah,
Right.
well, yeah,
Yeah. At
well,
some point, the Phils are going to be Ranger
even
Suarez.
for San Diego, just like Al said with Hugh Darvish, who I feel like every time he gets hurt, but yeah, he's been pitching really well these last couple of starts. But to have Cease, then Joe Musgrove, then probably Michael King, and then
Yep.
Hugh Darvish,
Yeah.
and then let's not forget these guys could go 5, 6 innings, and then San Diego has the 7, 8, 9 bullpen.
Yeah, they have a
It,
great bullpen.
No
it,
doubt.
it's and then the hitting is just phenomenal, which is weird because
Honestly, the pitching, the bullpen is why I picked them over Philly. But it could go either way, obviously. But that I love their bullpen, and their pitching staff as a whole, Phillies as well. I think the San Diego might have a little bit of a better bullpen. The only bullpen that rivals them in all of baseball, I think, is probably Cleveland.
yes,
Well, I don't know, man. I'll give you because the Eagles, the Phillies have three of the best relievers in baseball with between Matt Stram, Jeff. If I could read my own writing, Hoffman because I don't know Jeff Hoffman. Stram, Hoffman, and Orion Kerkering. Three of the best relievers in baseball. I mean, the highest ERA amongst them is Kerkering with I think at 2.12. Um, and they solidified their closer with that trade at the end with the Angels. So
Right.
I think they can hang with that bullpen.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't realize those guys were having that. They were that good. I read the names, but I didn't realize the years they were having. So yeah, like I said, it would be a fun series. Probably go 7 games. They
hmm
seem like they're pretty evenly matched. They both can hit. They both can pitch.
No doubt.
Four deep, and they both got bullpens. So that would be a really, really fun series.
That's the one I'm rooting for.
me too.
Yep. Um, okay, so I said that actually in the American League. First of all, this is all move. It's probably not going to happen this way, and this is probably the hardest year to pick in baseball at any point. Beginning of the year, end of the year, everything. There's no good teams. There's no bad teams. Everybody's just kind of mid. Um, so until they get knocked off, I'm going Houston. They're there every damn year. and
I
I
love
think
it.
they're going to be there again. Once October hits, they
They
become
turn it
a
on.
better
Yeah.
team. They're going to become a hard out. I really hope it is the Yankees in Houston. I hope the Yankees finally send them home, which is what I really really want. But I can't pick it until I see it. Every time they've ever run into them, they don't win. The only difference this year is they'll actually have the home field advantage, which one consistent thing that nobody really talks about when people talk about Houston dominating the Yankees is no one realizes that every one of those series, Houston had the home field. And
Yeah,
even in 17, when they cheated, the home team won every game.
yeah, it makes a huge difference, and they needed home turf to cheat properly.
Right. Absolutely. So I don't know. It's definitely tough. I wouldn't be surprised if anybody really makes it. I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland makes it because they do have the best bull. But I think it's better than the Padres and the Phillies. I think that is
Yeah,
the best
absolutely,
bullpen in baseball.
absolutely, no doubt. Now they don't
No,
have the
yeah,
starting pitching either of those other teams do, but they have the best bullpen by far, and the closer had a season for the ages. Clays.
Right. So I
right.
think if they can get to their bullpen, it's going to be a lockdown. You better be in the lead when they take their starter out because you're in trouble after that.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm so with you on that. Yeah, and I'll say this: as I was asking who has a better staff than San Diego and the Phillies, the one answer possibly could be the Astros. Um,
Yeah.
they have, I mean, Framber Valdez, I guess, would be their ace.
Hmm.
Kikuchi's been awesome since they traded for him. Runel Blanco's been an absolute beast, and Hunter Brown's been on fire the last month. So it's odd the odd issue that the Astros are facing is that Josh Hader hasn't been very good for the last month.
Right. But they're still going to depend on him, and you got to believe he's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Did
Hader's been really shaky the last 2.5 years, man. I don't know what's
yeah.
going. He is not the guy he used to be. So he is not shut down Josh anymore, man. He comes in and it's almost like watch. It's not quite, but it's like the Phils have Jose Alvarez, who's one of the most up and down pitchers who's ever pitched the game, and he's entering Alvarez territory the last couple of years. He is not the Hader he was.
How do you see it, Jordan, for the American League?
American
I
League is
know it is hard. It is
American
hard
League
to
is
pick.
tough because, like you said, there's no dominant team. There
Yeah.
really isn't. But
I mean, if you want to go by Vegas, the Yankees have the best odds.
yeah, but I mean,
And actually, what doesn't make any sense, the Yankees actually have the best odds in all of baseball to win the World Series, even over
I
the Dodgers, over everybody. The number one.
They
yeah,
get
I
the
don't
same. They get the same extra put on their odds that the Cowboys do in football because they're the most popular teams.
Yeah, I think you're
honestly.
right.
Yeah, I
But
don't.
I didn't pick them, so
I can't.
I love it.
I can't see I can't see the Yankees just because all season long they've been shaky and
yeah, but everybody has.
really, if you think about it, the thread that if you're any team that you got, it's not 2 and 3, and then the rest of the lineup is just it's whatever with the Yankees, and then the pitching's up and down, so is the bullpen. Uh, I do agree with Al though with um the Astros, like how I see playing out. I see they have to ride with the three guys I think that have been phenomenal. We've mentioned Valdez, Hunter Brown. I like Spencer Argini, how do you pronounce?
Urquidy,
Yeah,
Urquidy.
yeah. He's this is and I thought it was his first year, or at least his second year. No, this is his first year, and he's surprised me with the.
Really? I thought he
Uh,
was. I remember his name like 3 4 years ago.
no, I think someone said that he's actually been like this is like his first year, like or at least first full year. I wanted to say. Now I gotta look this up. Yeah, you got me.
Efforting.
Yeah,
Wait
now
a
you
minute.
got.
Was there another one? Was there another Urquidy? I remember that name from years ago. I thought he was in
No,
like.
yeah, Spencer Arikidi. He's in his rookie year right now.
That's not pronounced the same, but it does look somewhat similar. Are you thinking of Dave Rigetti?
No.
Yeah, I like him. And Kikuchi, I think since he got traded, he's lost once. What,
He's been a
which
stud since that
he
trade.
has,
Absolutely.
and the thing that scares me is you have those four guys. I'm not counting Verlander. Verlander is done. I'm sorry to say it, but
Same.
he's done.
Yep.
Um,
So Scherzer and DeGrom.
Yep.
yeah. Um, but the thing that scares me is the thing that always scares me with the Astros. At least I'm gonna put at least 1 through 4. That lineup is insane. Uh, Kyle Tucker, Altuve, Jordan Alvarez,
Is
and
Alvarez hurt?
I don't know. They said that he's on the roster for the wild card.
Okay, I thought he was banged up or he was questionable for the wild card,
Um, yeah, I don't know. They said that he was he
Alvarez
is
getting closer to return for wild card series.
but
okay. So
not
maybe he
definite.
was okay. So maybe he was definitely he was questioned. Um, but Jordan, I don't know, these guys. They're just they're great. And then Jeremy Pena has actually been doing well this year, or at least towards the second half, he's been doing
Yeah, he
well.
was horrible the first half.
Oh, he
Yeah.
was, yeah, and but then now he's put it on, and then I know everyone like he's overrated. But like Bregman, he's got to put on a show entering his last free agent year.
I am
The
so down on that guy. I'm one of the guys who hates him. So
but
I will acknowledge that I know you said you liked him or whatever, and he's one of your players, one of your guys. But for me, I do think he is way overrated. I don't think he's any good at all, and I think he's pretty much done. He is
I
the most overrated player. He had like one good year, and every other year since then, his numbers are terrible.
so, yeah.
Not even
But
good,
you
terrible.
should be so this postseason in my mind, what you said, he's overrated. Probably one of the most overrated third basemen, and I think and we'll see it happen because we've seen it all off season. We have the most underrated third baseman playing, and that's Jose Ramirez. He's
Right.
underrated, in my mind.
Totally agree.
But the Astros, how I see it, I have to agree with you. Until they get knocked out, I had to see them winning, but I am heavily favoring the Cleveland Guardians as well.
Yeah,
I like Cleveland. I like Stephen Vogt after like his first year after a Hall of Fame manager had to step down for a minute, and Terry Francona, he took off. Like picked up where Terry Francona left off, and I'll say it time and time again. I know people who listen to my podcast have literally told me, I'm not joking, have literally told me they're tired of hearing me saying it, but catchers make the best managers ever.
I
And
agree.
he's one of them.
Yeah. I completely agree. Completely agree.
And he is one of
Uh,
the best managers ever.
yeah. I want to throw this at you though for Cleveland. What do you think about their pitching staff? It's not super impressive to me.
It's not, I think if we had, Shane Bieber,
Yeah, it'd be a
um,
whole different thing. Absolutely.
it'll be a whole different thing, but they're doing, I mean, they're doing what they're doing. And it's not like hey, I believe they're kind of in the similar boat with the Philadelphia Phillies. Like they've been here before. They keep getting knocked out. They're hungry, and eventually they're gonna get back there. It was a tough loss from 2016. I have to think if you're an athlete that still plays back in your mind that yes, it was years ago, but we were still this close to gain the World Series. But I think it's the same thing with Philadelphia. The last 2 years, Philadelphia was so close. They were just there, and now I think it has to be with Cleveland as well. They're hungry, and they're going to do it. Both Nailers, Josh and Bo, have done for Stephen Kwan.
Stephen
Because
Kwan's a good player.
Yep,
he's
absolutely.
phenomenal. And then like I said, the pitching is the one that scares me the most.
The starting
Yeah,
pitching, to
the
be
starting
clear,
pitching. Sorry,
right? Because the
um,
bullpen's excellent.
do that. But yeah, it's like if they're hitting, you can work with it. Once you get to the bullpen, it like you said, you better have that lead because it's gonna be shut. It's gonna be lights out.
No doubt, no doubt. Well put. And I'll just say this: is anybody terrified of a 3-man rotation with Tanner Bibby, Joey Cantillo, and Matthew Boyd?
Right, that's the
Yeah,
problem.
no,
That bullpen's
the,
going to have to work overtime.
no,
Right.
yeah, they will. But then it's like you could say that with any AL East team, really.
Not,
For the Yankees, if if I mean, you could prove me wrong. You could find me on it, but with the Yankees, the only guy I'm really circling is Garrett Cole. I'm not afraid of Carlos Rodon. I'm not afraid of Marcus Stroman. I'm certainly,
Well, it's
I'm,
going to be Heel. Heel will be the third.
oh, will be Hill?
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, either way, I'm still circling Garrett Cole. He's the big name out of all of them. Carlos Rodon is up and
So
down.
right, you get a good Carlos Rodon, you're okay. But if you get the bad one, it is a disaster. It's throwing gasoline on a fire.
Yeah, and then maybe I'm also taking a look at the ninth inning because Clay Holmes is just he's Clay Holmes. Um,
that's the part to be scared about with the Yankees
Well,
for
it's going to be
sure.
Luke Weaver. I'm sure
Yeah, Luke. Yep.
he's the closer
is
now.
it because the last time I heard, I'm also hearing that it's that they're
Well,
they're really really high in Clay Holmes.
I know they're really high on him, but the end of the year he got taken out of the role, and Weaver got all the saves.
Yeah, the last 30 days, Luke Weaver has 4 saves and 4 opportunities. Holmes isn't even on the list.
Yeah,
Yeah, so maybe
I would be surprised if it's Holmes.
One,
If
there he is. He was way down. I'm sorry because he had 1 save in 4 opportunities, unlike Luke's
he
4 for
gave up
4.
three of them. Oh my God, that guy.
and then I as a player I like Nestor Cortez, but and what he says, dude, is just
well,
he's
he's done anyway. He's not going to be there.
I know, but like the even when he was like when he did what that thing with in the Cubs series, come out of bullpen. He told the media like straight up. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm pissed, and they told me
Yeah,
to do
but
this in the
you know
world."
what? He pitches well when he's pissed because he pitched really good that game
Yeah,
when he came in. So let him
but
be
then and then
pissed.
he
That's
told
fine. But he's
the
not. He doesn't matter. He's a non-factor because he's out.
mm,
He's hurt. He's not coming
yeah,
back for the whole postseason.
but yeah, no. Otherwise, other than I don't know, like I said, other than the two Soto and Judge, I don't
Yeah,
know. The Yankees don't they don't.
I like Jazz. Jazz is
I'm not
okay.
saying yeah, but like I'm saying, other than those guys, there's nothing.
There's no one to fear. I understand that.
Yeah, and I think that's the
But honestly, those guys are right on par with anybody in Cleveland's lineup other than Jose Ramirez, really, and maybe
yeah,
Stephen Kwan.
right.
I mean,
And
after that,
Naylor.
Naylor, he's okay. He's nothing crazy. He's not crazy good.
He was at least as good as Quan.
Oh yeah, that's true. But even so, that's three guys
Right.
saying
No,
he
no,
ain't.
no. I'm with you. Listen, I'm with you. I'm not making an argument they're scarier
Mm,
than the Yankees. I'm just saying if we're listing guys that are good on the Indians, you got to include Naylor.
Right. Okay. I can definitely do that. I don't
yeah,
know. I think everybody's lineups are not what they would like it to be
yeah.
for the most part. Everybody's got some holes.
Yeah,
So
there's
we'll have
no
to see.
doubt. I'm with you on that 100%. 100%.
It's a complete crapshoot this year, as the whole season was. Just like the NFL season is. Anybody can beat anybody. We see it week after week in the NFL, and we're going to see it in the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised of anybody making the World Series. There's no surprise. Like if Milwaukee was playing, I don't know, Kansas City, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's awesome. Yeah, that would surprise me a
Honestly,
little bit. Milwaukee wouldn't
honestly,
surprise me. If it was any of the 3 National League teams where they're still fighting for the playoffs today, I would be surprised.
but honestly, it also be good. I mean, it'll be good for Milwaukee because they haven't won a World Series in how long have they been around?
I know.
Yeah, good lord.
It's them and San Diego that are in this World Series or in this playoffs that have never won. a World Series.
Right.
Man,
You
that'd be
know,
kind of well. No, you can't have they're in the same league. Shoot, that would be.
How is Cleveland? How long is Cleveland gone?
Oh God, hold on,
hasn't
I'll
it
look it up.
been like
Wasn't it like the 50s or something?
probably?
Because they've been a couple times, but they lost them.
Oh shoot, I wasn't typing all the time.
Yeah, I remember they lost to the Braves in '95 in Game 7.
Uh,
1920 and 1948.
48. Yeah.
There you go. They've won it, but they've been waiting a while.
Longest drought among longest active among all 30 current major league teams. Longest championship drought.
So Cleveland, Milwaukee, there you go, or Cleveland, San Diego. Somebody is going to either end a ridiculously long drought or win it for the first time.
That would at least be kind of fun.
Yeah.
That would be really awesome. I would love to see that.
Alrighty. Well, we've gone a little over an hour here, more than that, an hour 20. So let's wrap it up. It's been a long one, but it's been a good one. And let's definitely come back at the end of the year and go over everything. And then we start another fun. What I'm thinking is going to be very fun is the off season this year, the Soto sweepstakes. How long it takes to sign people because it's stupid. There's stupid rules.
Who's Soto's agent?
Well, you know
Boris,
who it is.
Oh God, I was afraid.
Yeah,
do you want me to tell you how many Scott Boras agents we have right now? I
Yes.
swear to God, I want to say what Soto, Bregman, Alonso. I believe Corbin Burns is also his
client.
client.
Oh, jeez. And none of these
Um,
guys watched what happened last off season. How he
Holy
screwed over
cow, this
three
game's
players.
insane. Sorry, guys.
Whoa, yeah. Lindor just hit a tater.
So the Braves come back, and then Lindor gives them the lead. Holy shit. 8
Unbelievable.
7 Mets.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Here's the
This is,
wild thing. Both these teams are both going to use up their entire pitching staff on this game alone. They're going to be
yeah.
so depleted going into their whoever they end up playing. Wow.
Wow. Wow. Wow. Okay.
Wild. Okay. What a game. You got to love the baseball, man. You got to love MLB.
All right. Well, then I will see and talk to you guys in about 3 weeks for baseball. Al, of course, we'll still be doing our football podcast. We'll be starting that one tomorrow as usual.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And Jordan, enjoy the playoffs. I know you will. This is your time of year, and enjoy it, my friend. I will be right there enjoying it with you, and I can't wait. I'm really, really excited for this because it is so unpredictable. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I'll be watching every single game. I am now staying home for the whole month of October. so,
I love it. I
so
love it. I
we're,
love it.
I'm gonna be my plans for today. I'm gonna buy like 5 TVs. Each one's gonna have a different baseball game. Um,
Or hey, could I offer you a money saving thing? Get one TV with picture in picture.
There you go.
we can do that too. We'll find a way to make it work.
I love it. I love it. We need fly eyes, where you can see multiple. That's awesome, man. I just absolutely love that. I'm right there with you guys. This is going to be so much fun.
Alrighty. I want everybody to make sure you check out the Baseline from Jordan, his baseball podcast. Me and Al were guests on there a couple last week or so, doing some third baseman. We'll probably be on there again, doing some other positions. And make sure you check out Soul Joel TV on YouTube, the Bring 'Em Out podcast. Al, is there any update yet on that?
No, no, we're still floating in the wind, waiting for things to calm down at Sunnybrook. We may go. I may have an update in the next week or so. I'm hoping to, but for now, it's hopefully returning soon.
And Jordan, when's the next time we could get something from the Baseline?
Um, probably after the wild card, I'll go over that round, and then also if anyone is also listening, we are officially on YouTube. So it's been
Nice.
long
Oh,
awaited.
nice.
Yes, it's been long awaited, and
He texted me last night trying to figure it out. He's like, I can't figure this out. And I
yeah,
tried to tell him, And then you said you figured out the worst possible, longest way to do it, but you got it done.
Well, listen, that's all we got. That's all that counts. So we got it done.
Oh, I love it. I love
Um,
it.
but yeah, yeah, we're officially on YouTube, and if anyone wants to go check out the very first video, is the one the three of us did, because it's actually probably, since I've been doing this podcast, the most we listened to. I literally have like 15 followers, but I gained 25 listeners on the greatest shortstops
Nice.
with the three of us. So that's on YouTube. So if you want to go, please go check it out. All three of us giving our top tens. Lots of fun.
That was a
Absolutely.
blast. Thanks again for
Absolutely.
having me, man. That was so much
No,
fun.
you're welcome. And then, like I said, I know that you guys had fun, but next one will be third baseman. And then I did want to talk to you guys. I mean, I guess since we're on the podcast now, I know I did catcher, first base, and second base, but I do want to redo it. But with your guys, see who we have.
Hey, I'm on
You,
board for all baseball podcasts, man.
okay,
Yeah,
so
right. I second that, and I would do any positions, anytime, anywhere. I love it. I've already been making my third base list, floating it around for
Well,
when we get to that. So, yeah,
what we can do, Jordan, is if you want, you don't have to redo. Just have a podcast where we give you your ours, and you just tell us what you did on yours, and you can talk. We could talk about yours. You don't have to change your list and completely redo everything.
oh
Just
yeah,
have a
no,
podcast
that's
where, like, we're going to join you since we missed out on first and second base or whatever. We're gonna do those real quick. Run through those.
yeah, that's what actually that was actually my plan.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
great minds, gentlemen. Great minds.
All right, that's gonna do it. Make sure you check out Perks Recap Music Reactions. Ran into two blocks in a row, which really slowed things down, which really sucks. But I got one of them out, and we'll be back to our every other day schedule as normal. But that's gonna do it. Once again, thank you, Al. Thank you, Jordan. And until next time, I will see you later.